40inbox.com, and we're going to be checking out how much should a guy spend on an engagement ring. So let's check this out.
How much do you think a guy should spend on an engagement ring?
I think 10 times their salary.
10 times their salary. What?
Yeah, has to be in like the six digits for
Six digits for sure.
sure.
How much do you think a guy should spend on an engagement ring?
I'd say at least like 100K.
100K?
Yeah.
What the hell? Are these people even real? Like, you can't be serious. So, get this, right? The average cost of an engagement ring varies depending on the source, but according to the Knot 2022 Jewelry and Engagement Study, the average cost of an engagement ring is around $6,000. However, a 2019 survey from the Knot found that the average engagement ring cost was around 5,900, and a good number surveyed of respondents, 10% spent less than $1,000. Right? So what people really need to understand is that, like, only get something that you can actually afford. I think the general rule of thumb is like basically like a month of your salary, but the reality is that might be too much for you as well, depending on how much you're actually making. Because you got to think about it like this, right? The bigger the ring, probably the higher chance that the person that you're trying to marry is a gold digger, right? You got to be kind of a little careful with that, you know? Like, it's kind of an issue if the person that you want to marry is pretty much demanding or is wanting like a six-figure ring that does nothing, okay? So, like, put it into this perspective. Say you propose like this question to your partner that you're going to potentially like ask to marry. Would you rather have a nice ring, a nice wedding, or a home? Right? Pick those three. Be like out of those three, which one you actually want? Because the majority of people cannot do all three. Some people can't even really do any of them, right? Some people got to put basically like a ring pop on the finger. So it's just something to really think about because there is a show on Netflix that basically portrayed this perfectly. It was like mortgage or marriage, where basically people were given the choices between like a nice home, like putting their like the amount of money that they saved for like a down payment for a nice home, or to spend on a wedding. And you got to think about it like this: it's like one day, and it's gone. But this is kind of like similar. You're spending this amount of money on something that will literally provide no tangible value at all, right? Not to mention, you could literally lose a ring very easily. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I don't understand why people would even want to have this type of thing on their finger, because you're just basically making yourself like a target depending on where you live. It's like, oh, let's just rob this person because this person's carrying like a really expensive ring. Like, if you got 100K on a finger, it's going to be pretty darn hard to not be flashy with your money. Like, I just don't understand that. So let's check out some of these like Reddit posts about like the average cost of engagement rings, right? So let's check this out. So engagement rings by 25 July, 2 years ago. Average cost of engagement rings. So I'm a total noob when it comes to this stuff. Most of my life, I assumed engagement rings must be 50K and above, upwards towards the 100Ks. Jesus. Probably because of Hollywood celebrity movie depictions. I mean, that might be the same issue that those ladies are dealing with. I also thought diamond was really expensive. But I've been doing research and the numbers are surprising to me. So, out of curiosity, how much was your engagement ring and what makes it cost so much? Is it the diamond? Are partners meant to spend a lot on it, like at least 10 to 20K, or am I just assuming incorrectly? I seriously do not know how much should be spent. I'm looking at a ring with my husband and it's about 2.5K and I love it so much and such a bargain too. Like, think about that for a second. This person had like the belief that these rings are supposed to be like 50K to 100K, but she sees like a 2.5K ring and is like, "Oh, this is so lovely." Woo. Let's see. This person says, "I'll put it this way: my engagement and wedding rings combined cost about 1,700. My best friend has a $36,000 rock on her hand. Both of us are happily married." Who put a $36,000 like ring on someone's finger? Like, to me, that's just so crazy. Get the ring you like, it won't put you on a financial strain. Agreed. The expensive ring you see in Hollywood and celebrities are not always realistic for the average person. You shouldn't feel pressured about spending a lot on a ring just because you see people on media sporting giant rings. I agree. Like, you really, really shouldn't be getting involved in that. Mine was 20K. Good friend's ring was 5K. Another friend's was 9K. Just get whatever you want. But see, for me, like, wouldn't you want your partner to like not be okay with accepting like a 20K ring, a 50K ring? Like, man, mine was $200 and it's perfect. And look, what's funny is like I randomly was like in Walmart a while back, and I actually walked by someone who was buying a engagement ring for their partner, and it was just from Walmart. It was like one of those like jewelry like sections on Walmart, like right when you pretty much walk in, next to like the watches and whatnot. It's like, hey, I mean, if it does the job, that's really all it needs to do. I have a 1.25, I guess, carat lab diamond, and the ring altogether was just under 4,000. We're in our early 30s and have been together more than 10 years, so my fiance had more time to save than many. My friend got a mined diamond in Takori setting that was around $10,000. Just depends on your financial situation and what you're comfortable with spending. I don't think there is any specific amount you should spend. My ring costs $400 and I'm very happy with it. They don't have to be spendy. Yeah, like I don't understand this. Like, just get what you can actually afford. Mine was 25K a few years ago, and I recently got divorced and sold it for 10K. What the heck? Like, I guess if you stumble upon this, feel free to give your thoughts as to what you think a ring should cost. It's just, to me, it's like that money can be used for like so much better things, right? It could be a really nice down payment for a house depending on where you live. You could end up basically making sure that your kids, your future kids, end up basically going to college completely paid for, right? Like, it's just sad to see people like waste so much money on something that pretty much doesn't really mean anything. Like, just because you get a bigger ring does not mean that you love the person more or that the relationship is going to last longer, right? I mean, there's like more important things than the size of the ring. Let's see some of these comments on the Twitter thing. Some people just don't want to live in reality. Unfortunately, these women will be single forever. Delusional. I bet they all brag about their body count. And, if I spent that on the ring, we'd be living in the streets. Hmm. My wife got robbed then. 100K I will probably not be spending. Cannot trust no woman in this generation. 100K plus engagement ring. Can you imagine what the wedding would cost? 100K ring, 700K wedding. Let me just get my checkbook real quick. This is the perfect tutorial on how to stay single. Take notes. They would never get married. LOLTF. Bored ape is greater than an engagement ring. Let's see. So, wow, must be nice to have such high expectations. Just remember, the size of the rock doesn't determine the quality of your relationship. Good luck with your pricey investment. Only 100K. If my girl wants me to spend 100K on a ring, I'm automatically gay now. Yeah, this is just so crazy to me. Stay tuned for more. I just stumbled upon this on Twitter and I was like, what are these like ladies thinking? It's like, do they think that money just like comes into existence at the snap of the fingers?